This week on Times Drive, we're hitting the Dhorra, the sea of sand in Rajasthan, for 2 days of dune bashing at the Dor Cross 2012. Also, Delhi gets a brand new bike accessory store and we go in to take a look. Plus, life with the 2012 Bentley Continental GT. This is Times Drive and I'm Joel Pereira, and being the intrepid adventurers that we are, decided to forego the entire December booze and babes revelry and instead head into the desert with SUVs. Here's all the action from the 2012 Dhorra Kross.
Rallying, they say, is all about hits and misses. You miss a beat and you take a hit. You've seen our crews traveling across the country to get you exclusive rallying action. And as much fun that is, it's also serious stuff. Those machines and the boys mean business. So to start the new year, we decided to do something different. Something a little more fun and a little less uptight. We decided to go into the sand dunes of fabled Jaisalmer and do a bit of dune running. Something new in the new year, say hello to Dhorra Kross 2012. Dhorra in local Rajasthani dialect means dune, and even though dune bashing is quite popular in some parts of the world, that's not the point of Dhorra Kross.
There are no structured training programs in India. There's no rally driving school. There's nothing that teaches you. There's nothing that prepares you for either the raid or for the desert storm. So we run two programs basically. One is the Dhorra Kross and the other is the Ice Cross. One prepares you for the raid, one prepares you for the desert storm. So you can say they're like training schools for that. But they're not so rigid. You can bring your family, you can have fun.
Yeah, it's it's not the stressful experience one encounters in competitive motorsport events. It really is relaxing, and you've got the ambience of a lot of like-minded people. So everyone here is an auto enthusiast or affiliated some way with the automotive sports.
Well, I would think this is an amazing event that has been organized, and it gives an opportunity for people to learn how to ride the dunes. So everybody's got their four-wheel drives, there's quads happening, there's motocross bikes. So it's great, like-minded people getting together, it's a great thing.
Since it's relatively new, the organizers have restricted the entry to a small number. 3 bikes, 15 cars and 1 quad make up the Dhorra Kross convoy. It is also a family affair, so plenty people around and the bustle of a rally is not really missed.
The first day is the arrival, where you arrive at some dunes, and then you have a cultural night at the tent. And second day morning you start the duning. Second day morning you do duning from about 8:30 till about 11. Have your lunch, and after lunch then you go back for duning, come back, and then you have a gala evening where you have the local musicians who are playing for you over a dune.
Now before the cars go out and hit the dunes, there is an advance party which goes and identifies the route, maps it and marks it for safety reasons. Because even though being out in the dunes is fun, it's a place where getting lost does not require too much of an effort. But finding the way back can be, let's say, tricky.
When we come for dune running, basically first the advance party goes, looks into the track, we walk the track so that we see if the dune isn't too steep, the car will be able to do it or not. And we put flags, make a course. We make a course where at places the cars get stuck also, which we want them to get stuck so that they learn out of it. And taking out the car is also a process of Dhorra Kross.
After the stickering and mechanical checks, it was time for the driver's briefing. Vijay Parmar of Himalayan Motorsports, one of the organizers, in his signature sarcasm-laced manner, broke down the do's and the don'ts for all the participants.
The course is marked out by flags so that they don't get into trouble unnecessarily. The desert is not an easy place to navigate. And after various attempts of getting stuck and going through, they'll learn that. So post-lunch, we go to the serious dunes, which I've got the 80-foot drops and the 100-foot drops. And
then the convoy headed out to the first set of dunes, which were more of a training set to get the drivers up to scratch on running in sand. Once there, the fun began. Even though the first set of dunes was supposed to be just for training, the drivers found their first taste of sand quite a handful. Sand driving is highly technical and one has to constantly be on the ball to avoid getting stuck. Here, it's not so much about the car as it is about the driver. Skill is paramount.
Yeah, when getting through dunes, it's all technique. You have to be very careful where you go. If you're looking for trouble, you find it. If you want to get stuck, you will get stuck. If you want to avoid getting stuck, then you just have to go real easy, avoid the soft patches, and don't give too much throttle. You just got to go real easy through the deep stuff. Low tire inflation is really important, and you got to have four-wheel drive.
Now the fine sand of the Thar desert has an innate quality to suck you in at the slightest loss of momentum. And that is something the drivers found out the hard way, much to their chagrin. But it was something the organizers had kept in mind, and they were close at hand to extract anyone and everyone who dug themselves into the sand.
We are humans, everybody makes mistakes. When I go over a crest and I can't see what's behind that, and suddenly I lift off my accelerator or press my brakes, so my car gets in the middle and both the wheels are in the air, the front and the rear. So that's the time I can't do anything. Either I have to shovel it out, or somebody has to winch me out or give me a pull.
There are extractions and then there are extractions. Sometimes the SUV goes nose up onto the dune and then come down on the crest with all four wheels in the air, unable to move. Some other times, loss of momentum results in the wheels just digging themselves and the weight of the vehicle digging itself deeper into the sand. For each different kind of problem, there are different methods of extraction.
Well, the simplest is you dig them out. You get a lot of the extra sand out from the tires. And then many times you just give them a good tug with a tow strap and you can pull them free. If that doesn't work, then you got to pull out the winch. And for really tough extractions, you put a winch on them and that can pull them out of just about anything. And if that doesn't work, we can put 2 winches on them.
Now there were a number of different vehicles running in Dhorra Kross, from the uber-cool Land Rover Freelander 2 to the menacingly functional but low-slung BMW X5, the ground-munching Toyota Fortuner, the sturdy Mahindra Thar, to the Prabhakar's remarkably souped-up Mahindra DIs. All of them accomplished off-roaders in their own right. And with the spectrum that broad, we caught up with the drivers to ask them how their vehicles took the sand.
This is a basic Mahindra MM540 derivative, but we beefed up the engine and the drivetrain. And we got heavy-duty components. All of the axles are 1-ton pickup units. The engine is a juiced-up Scorpio motor with 2.6-liter turbocharged engine. So it's very effective in the sand and pulls like a tractor. So our speciality is not just going through the sand dunes, but pulling people that are stuck out.
Takes the dunes well. I would prefer a little more ground clearance, but aside from that, it does perform brilliantly. Doesn't struggle at all. Takes the dunes very smoothly, and 4x4 is fantastic. Handling is great. I found it to be very responsive as far as the steering goes, and aside from that, I found the brakes are a little weak. Aside from that, no issues at all.
So the X5 has been like a fantastic car so far because it's a 1,000-kilometer trip to get here. First of all, you know, we're pulling also the trailer. So it's pretty like pretty big trip. And then here for the off-road, you know, the interesting thing is really you need a lot of traction. Traction is like really good, but ground clearance for this kind of terrain on a normal standard X5 is not enough. So you need actually, traction is good, but to negotiate the dunes, you need more ground clearance, more ramp action.
Along with the meaty 4x4s, there were also 2 bikes and a gas quad. And they were the ones who had no trouble getting stuck and looked as if they had the most fun.
The bikes are like, I mean, actually, my bike is not working right now. So I'm using my son's 150, which is much too small bike. But if you're not experienced in the dunes, and if you, from time to time, you fall, so the smaller bike is much easier to handle. So I'm really glad enough and happy enough that my son actually opted to share his bike with me. I'm really lucky. So I'm using his bike, and I'm like getting really great rides out of that. And it could not have been better.
We did. We've ridden quite extensively on the quad, and it's probably the only place you can really use this machine.
The last set of dunes that the participants tackled on second day were called the Sea of Sand in local tourist circles. And by the time the convoy reached there, most of the drivers were pretty adept sand drivers, which essentially was the gist of the entire exercise. There were still some extractions though, but then they were fewer than before.
Today we went to this really huge sand dune. They just looked like a vast expanse of untouched sand. I was really surprised to see this because I came last year. I had no idea this sand dune was out there. So I'm really happy these guys from Marlin Motorsport actually took the effort to find it. And we went out there and it was just fantastic. We didn't even explore 10% of it. It's a huge sand dune, because if you go out there and you're a couple of kilometers off and you get stuck, you're in big trouble. So we explored a little bit of it. We had a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. It was tough for some of the SUVs to get out here, because most of the other cars are just SUVs like Fortuners, and there was, I think, one Land Cruiser and Range Rover. For those guys, it was pretty challenging for the really tough stuff and really tall scrub grass. For the Jeep, you just plow through anything. You can't damage anything. There's no plastic, so we just had fun.
So if you have an able off-roader, not necessarily a fancy one, and you want weekend escapade with the family, but at the same time want to satiate your need for off-roading or perfect your rallying technique or test the off-road capability of your vehicle, Dhorra Kross comes highly recommended for all those quarters.
We have enough rallies, but we don't have any rally schools. And this events like this and the ice cross, which is done on snow and ice and leads to the same end, is partly for enjoyment of what nature has given for us, what is available. And partly it is for getting us more skilled when we go to these events. It makes actually these, it increases the safety level if you've got a more skilled rider or a more skilled driver. So for us, it's an investment in talent.